Positively Muskegon, it's Andy O'Reilly at the Folker Community Hub today, and take a look over there. Joe Ferrier, that's a face I've seen quite a bit around town. I mean, you were at all the hockey games. You
absolutely
really tore up Rebel Road all weekend long out doing the stumping for the drain commissioner thing. As much as I know Joe, and I see Joe around town, I don't have the first clue what a drain commissioner does. So, without further ado, the candidate himself is going to tell us tell me what a drain commissioner does.
And I like to make it, simplified so that people aren't confused. And some people think there are drains in front of their house and other things like that. Well, Muskegon River, of course, we know we're the lumber industry. And we're, so the mouth of the river, as all mouths of rivers, you tend to have marshy areas and so on. So we were built on a marsh, okay? There's hundreds and hundreds of miles of drains that help keep us and our community dry.
Okay.
Now, like when you're out in the woods, hunting or going for a walk, and you see those little ditches out there, those are part of the drains.
Okay.
You have to keep them maintained.
Yeah, clean.
And that's one of the problems we have is that there's not the proper equipment right now to actually maintain them.
Okay.
So they wait till they get really, really bad, then they have to do a
big
procedure, yes.
Yeah,
so the drain commissioner does that and keeps those clean and maintenance those. In addition to that, whenever there's a big development, could be a subdivision or commercial development, the drain commissioner has to look over their site plans and make sure, because there's some companies, don't want to name any, but there's some companies that wouldn't care about their neighbor.
Right.
And they would just set it up and let that in the parking lots, of course, you run off all oil and stuff like that.
Yeah.
We'd run right off into those ditches or whatever and go right into your groundwater.
Yeah.
If
we
didn't protect them.
Okay.
So in addition to that, now all these drains, they all have a separate budgeting setup too. So you have to do a separate accounting procedure for each and every drain system.
No kidding.
The income and outgo and everything of each system. Well, which is, me with running several different companies, I'm used to keeping things separate and not commingling between the different systems. So we're going to be okay. And a lot of the drain commissioner, people don't realize, is you have to deal with a lot of working with other municipalities, all the municipalities, and working as a team together with them. And same as industry. Yes, we have to protect our water. At the same point, we have to develop some procedures that invite businesses to want to bring work, employment, hiring of our citizens at the same time. Some of the procedures could be modified so that it would be easier for them to want to come to our community.
Yeah, make it a little
and at
easier
the same
to
time,
bring the jobs in.
now, and running for doing the flood control that I've done
talk about that. This is where all this comes from, is your background in flood control?
Well, many years ago, I bought property in the Muskegon River.
Okay.
And if everybody knows about that, in the mid-1986, we got flooded really bad.
Yeah.
Feet and feet. Well, we still get flooded all the time. And I developed ways of protecting my property and my personal property.
Okay.
And I got to be the go-to guy for most people that lived along the river in that area. And I got pretty good at developing ways of still keeping the natural flow, but protecting my personal property.
Okay, fair enough.
So then I got hired to do a few things. Of course, I did do basements before that, wet basements and things like that. I've had to.
So you've always been after water.
Oh yes, I've done drain tile systems in houses. I've developed ways of diverting water and snow. Like, let's say you have a really old house with a foundation is bad underneath. They didn't protect them as well back then.
Right.
Most correct way is dig all the way down, like I've done, grind out all the mortar joints, remortar them, and I put a rubber. It's actually used on houses. I rubber encase the whole basement.
No kidding.
Yeah, and you have to, some areas you can't do that. So I've had to develop things like the ground gutter and other things to control to be able to divert water. In fact, a lot of areas use some of those theories that I came up with. It's not rocket science, it's ways of diverting, like if they have flash floods in situations, they can divert water to protect property. So I want to take some of this stuff and help our community. And be able to I do that all the time. I was just in a neighborhood over on Carr Road, just off Carr Road.
Yeah. Okay.
It was a guy from my church. He said, "Joe, come look. I know you're the professional in the field." And I looked over some of the situations. They're trying to fix something that, well, it should have been fixed before the development was done. Okay, obviously. And it should have been homes installed correctly in the first place. But after the fact, you can still do it, but it's a lot more work.
Yeah.
So I was over there helping with their drainage concerns, and that kind of it makes me feel good.
Yeah,
To be able
yeah.
to help all these other people, and so I want to feel good about helping the entire county.
Yeah.
So
Sounds like you're the guy.
well, that's what I want to do.
Not your first run. I think, did you try it last time around too?
Yep,
Did you?
I ran, and
So you got a burning desire to get this
oh,
thing
absolutely, I won't quit until I do it.
done. Yeah. Well, there you go. Let's stick to it.
Anybody that knows me knows I don't give up. Now, the first year I drove race cars, I didn't win,
Yep.
not even the second, but I did win championships.
Yep.
I got a little seat time, and then we took care of it.
Worked your way
And
there.
I feel I have to do this, not just for me because it makes me feel good to help people, but our community needs me.
Yeah.
They need me. They just don't know it.
Yeah.
And so many people don't vote.
Right,
It's
no.
ridiculous.
That's the idea. That's why we're doing everybody here.
Yes, please vote.
See?
I mean, in the primaries especially, that is more important to us. Your local representatives do more for you personally than the people in Washington do.
Yeah, yeah.
You need good local representation. Do your homework. Go on the internet. Research the people. All of them, please. Ask them questions. Just today on Facebook, I had a gentleman respond to a post that I did, and he said, well, what are your qualifications? Well, he obviously hadn't gone to my website or
Right,
anything,
right.
which is joeferrier.com.
Yep, we'll put that right
Oh, no,
here.
voteferrier.com.
Voteferrier.com.
I got so many websites. Vote Ferrier, Joe Ferrier, all kind of linked to each other, though.
Yeah.
And, of course, the All-Star Flood Control.com.
Sure.
And so I responded, and some of the things that I've done, 15-some years in flood control industry, and that, there are other things. I owned electronic engineering companies, and said, what would that have to do with that? Well, I traveled all over the places in the world. I dealt with people in Belgium, I've traveled Paris, I've traveled to do business. It wasn't that fun because I had a big, tall, strong guy with me. It wasn't fun. It was business, I'd love to go there vacationing. So we were in Zurich, and I'm meeting with people, and I'm convincing them that I'm the guy that our company is the company to do electronic engineering designs for them.
Sure.
So meeting with these people and convincing them that we're the ones to do, that gives you some experience at being able to work with other people, and that helps in this. We have to deal with DEQ all the time, which I've dealt with many times.
Sure.
Health Department of Transportation, our environmental concerned organizations, and merge all together to jointly come up with plans that we're going to help our community, and at the same time as rescuing and saving our
Pristine waterways.
We still have to make it inviting for and make it affordable for people.
Yeah.
When you're not doing the proper maintenance, what happens? Just like in your car, if you don't do proper maintenance, it's going to break down.
Yeah.
So we have so many. Like one of the calls I just got recently, I get a lot of email calls because I do this privately.
Yeah.
Hey Joe, what can I do about this situation? Well, this guy, his drainage hasn't been maintained in 13 years.
Wow.
And he said before, and I said, well, there you go. They used to have people coming out. They had trustees coming out, and they that would help, and they took care of it. Well, it's been 13 years. It's not functioning properly. What's going to happen is they're going to have to submit a request. They have to have 5 or more people go before boards. Then they have to initiate to have assessments.
Sure.
To do a major project.
Sure.
When if they just maintained it, there wouldn't have been a major project.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's what's really bothering me. When I said, remember we said the hands-on?
Mm-hmm.
That I said, I'm going to do more hands-on. Well, yeah. I'm going to, have a crew. I can even run a backhoe myself. I own one, but can't use mine. Right. But there's some things we can just do ourselves, and some things we subcontract out. Just maintenance has to be done.
Yeah.
It has to be done. More maintenance.
Yeah.
And so I see a lot of these things that are costing us money as a community.
Time to save it.
Time to save it.
Perfect.
Yeah. So.
Give me you come to my door, bang, bang, bang. I open up the door, it's you. Give me your 30-second elevator speech. Tell me why you're running for office.
I don't really have an elevator speech, and that's what is I respond to the certain people themselves.
Okay.
And that's just how I've done for many years. So people, and a lot of times I ask them if they're first, of course, aware of what a drain commission does.
Yep.
And usually I say, well, because before you vote, I think you should know what a drain commissioner does.
Right.
You should know.
Absolutely.
You should know what they do. You should know more about it. And that's the first thing I ask them. Then I ask them, okay, I share with them the responsibilities of drain, because I want them to know how important it is.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
This is very, very important position. Can't be taken lightly.
Not at all.
And people don't know that. And I emphasize, of course, I know, they'll say, yeah, I'll vote for you, got my vote. And then most of them don't show up.
Right.
And a lot of times, okay, they worked a long day, I'm too tired, you know what, hey, my one vote don't count. Yes, your one vote counts.
Yes, it does.
And they go, oh, it's been a long day, I'm just gonna, no, make that effort, I don't care what, go down and vote. You know?
Get off your butt.
And
Vote.
so I express to them and I talk to them, and that's where I'm really pushing. And then, of course, I ask them, do you have any questions? And that's where I like, because it's right off the hip,
Sure.
and I like to answer them. Usually they say, well, actually, I got a problem with some water over here, Joe.
Here's my card.
Yeah, and so I will go around and I give free advice all
Sure.
the time
Public service.
on how to keep your foundations drier and things like that for
Yep.
cement houses. Of course, doing the black mold removal kind of fell in line with the flood control. But so I've been training people to do that for me.
You name it.
Most of the real estate brokers, or a good share of them, call me to rescue them. So I come in like the superhero with a cape, and their deal, yeah, because they always call me 2 days before the closing.
Of course.
Oh, hey Joe, we've got this water issue, or we got some black mold, blah blah blah. Can you take care of it? And we need it affordably. You know, so lucky I know how to do things and do it right.
Perfect.
And try to make it affordably. That might have come from a single mom raising 7 boys. I can take an empty cupboard and make a meal.
Joe Ferrier, running for drain commissioner here in Muskegon. Thanks for coming in, man.
Thank you very much.
Good to see you. All the links are here. You can find Joe on Facebook. You can also find his campaign webpage. All the links are here. Joe, thanks for the education on
Thank
what
you.
a drain commissioner
And
does.
please show up in the primaries.
Yes. Thanks for Joe
Thank
Ferrier
you.
stopping in, man.